Hello, this is David Hughes with another video for Genealogy Basics, and we're continuing our discussion on how to use iPads to do your genealogy research. So what we're going to discuss today really is whether or not these big four repository apps really worth using, and going into how to download images from the big four repositories. So we're going to go through each of the big fours, starting with Family Search. Then I will look at the different browsers, at least three of the four big browsers, to show the different ways that the browsers act on the downloads. The app for Family Search is Family Tree. We'll take a look at this. When you first come in, you'll be brought to your tree. I don't have a tree maintained, or I'm not connected to the one tree. That's something I'm going to be doing later. But there are some features here. We're not going to go through all the different features. We're going to get straight to finding particular records. What you want to do is go over here to More. And the first time you go to More, you're going to get these different options. Now, notable here, and one of the downsides of this app, is that there's no access to the research wiki, which I think is a big gap in this app right here. But what we're going to do, though, is show you how to search records. And the search screen, when you see this is the exact same search historical records that you see from a Mac or a PC. And you would scroll down a little bit, and then you could ask for a particular database to search. For instance, the United States Census. So I could go through this and go down and get the Harriet Wilder, the 1880 U.S. Census for Harriet Wilder. One nice feature here is that you can add screens, and then to go between different pages, you just sweep along here. So I've already got Harriet Wilder brought up here, and it has to refresh. The only bad thing about this, while it's refreshing, is that you can't save this to bookmarks. If you're only working on iPad, maybe that's not so bad. The only way to save and bookmark it is within the app itself, within Family Search, using Sourcebox. You can go to Sourcebox, save it, add it to my Sourcebox, and then within Sourcebox you can organize and group records by a particular name. So that's not so bad. Not my preference, but that's the downside. I think really the shortcoming of this app, this is nice. This is a feature that you don't see in other apps, which is to add several pages here. The real shortcoming, I think, this app is that you can't access the research wiki, which is really important when you're doing your research. So, of the apps, Family Searches app is actually one of the best in that it has most of the functionality, and it's very stable and keeps the multiple pages here. So, let's switch over to Chrome. So, when we open up Chrome, I should already have the home screen here. And you would, it looks the same. What's different here is you sign in with the side menu. So in this browser, in the Chrome browser, it's just a little different organized, but otherwise looks the same as the PC. Everything is over here, and most importantly, when you search, of course, just like a full desktop web browser, you have the research wiki and all the different categories of researching. I like all these different options of research. This is why I prefer working in a web browser and working with a full desktop version of this. So if you wanted to search records, to get to that familiar screen, you go to here. Now, where again I have the 1880 census for Harriet Wilder. You can see that you can zoom in and zoom out, and here she is, Harriet Wilder. So this works just like the full desktop, and all the same tools. The download works a little differently. Now let me go through the download of the images here. You click download, it comes down here, and then you click down here again, download, and open in. You get the different options. This is the share sheet, and what we're looking for is save to files. Click save files. I've been doing this, so it should be opening straight to downloads for Harriet Wilder. Click on this. We're not going to go through a full naming. What I am going to do is so that we can compare our work, we're going to call this Family Search Download. And that this is the Chrome version. So you push save. And we'll look at these. And after you do that, you have to close this download page. And then you're back here, and you can go on and do another search. Just one note, everything works the same here, that you can change which page of the census you want to work on by just changing that. So let's take a look at Safari. This is Apple Safari. It's loaded up, and you can see here we can zoom in, zoom out. It has a little different ratio for zooming in and out, but you can also use these different buttons here just like you would in the full desktop version. Here's Harriet Wilder. The download goes a little differently on this one. So if you click on download, why don't we do that? If you click on download, it just sort of disappears. But if you notice, this button went turned on here, and what it is that it's taken the file and put it into a downloads folder on your iPad. To get to the downloads folder, you come to your home screen, go to your Files app. Right now I'm in iCloud in my Harriet Wilder downloads folder. There is a folder called Downloads. Click on that, and you will see all the downloads. And here's the image. It's at the bottom because it's ordered by name. You can change the order by date, so the image that you just downloaded would come to the top. You just click on it, hold it, and then you can move this. And when you move it, you have a chance again to click up here, rename it, and then put it in the correct folder. We won't go through all those steps. So this is one legitimate method of downloading, but let me show the other way that I think is a little more direct. Okay, we're going to go back into Safari and show you the other method of downloading, which I think is a little more direct. You click download, and instead of the download button, you use the view button. The view button, when you hit it, will open the image into a full screen. And then from here, you use the share button. So the share sheet comes up, and you scroll down a little ways. You have the option to save to files. Save to files. We then can go to your iCloud drive and put it in the correct folder here. You have the chance to rename it. We're just going to put it in here. Not going to name it full, and then you push, after you change the name, done, and then you can save the file. So there you go. It's a little more direct. It gets it right to the folder. You rename it. You're not putting files in your download folders and then having to open up a different app. So I like this method better. To get out of this and get back into the search features, you just go back one screen, and then you have all your menu options up again, and you're up and running to go to a new search. So let's take a look at Edge. Edge is the Microsoft web browser. Okay, in Edge we have the exact same 1880 census for Harriet Wilder. Everything's going to look exactly like Chrome. You're going to use the download. There's, once you hit that, this little box comes at the bottom. You click download, and then you click on open in. The share sheet comes up. You scroll down, save the files. You go through the same steps. Again, we'll save some time and not go through this. You change the name and save it. So I think the real important part about Edge is that though the format looks different up at the top, the download works exactly the same as it does in Chrome. So now let's take a look at Ancestry, and we'll start with the Ancestry app. It comes here, brings you into this generic screen. It's discovery page. When you go into search, you won't see an option directly here to do specific searches on and look for particular databases or collections. So you have a few options here, but not every single thing. So what you have to do is put in your search, and then you can filter it afterwards, but it's not as specific as you would in a web browser. So for instance, let's do Harriet. And the other thing you'll see here is it tries to get you to use the people that you've already found in your database. The app is much more driven to the tree and hints type of system. So we're going to look for Harriet Wilder in Lake County, Ohio. There you go. And we know that's 1843. And we'll do a search. Now it's going to come up with some suggested records. Again, it's a bit different system here. It does come up with the one that we are going to be most interested in, but I want to show you up here. There is a filter option where you can then adjust the searches, but then you could narrow it down to some broader categories. You can't get to specific collections, but you can, for instance, narrow it down to the census for the 1880s, and we'll make sure that that's done. And you can, broaden or get more specific here. So we want to narrow it down to Lake County, and now we only have 8 results to look through. So anyway, it's a little bit different scheme. You click this to turn off that filtering. So if you open up this record and take a look at this, I just want to make a note that no matter what you do here, there is no way to download the full image. It should be 1.6 megs of image file. I could not figure out how to do that. If you click this, it will take you a different screen, and you can download the record portion, which is text. I cannot get this image out, and a screenshot of this is an option, but this alone makes me not want to use the Ancestry app for most of my research. I do use the app all the time to look at my tree. That's where I keep a copy of it. And it's real convenient on the road to open that up to see where different information, different facts about my family tree. So we're going to go through the 3 browsers with Ancestry, and this is going to be the subscription edition. We'll start with Chrome, and here's the 1880 census for Harriet Wilder. There's 2 different ways to get to the downloads. First is to click on Save. Of course, you can attach to the tree or save to your shoebox, but we also have this one, Save to your computer. We click on that. And again, we look to the bottom in Chrome, the same as in Family Search. You then hit Download and then Open In. And then the share sheet comes up. You scroll down, and then you have Save to Files. And again, you can change the name, put it in the correct folder on your iCloud drive or whatever service you're using. I'm not going to go through all that, just to save time. And we need to back out of this. Okay, the other way, that's the more direct way, but there is this button here, this icon, which is a download or share type button. And it gives you a slightly different screen, but there's still a download button within the screen. So you click on download, and again, you get the download, and then you can go download, open in, and save to files. Let's back out of that. So now we're going to look at Safari. In Safari, it's going to again look and act a little bit different. We're going to hit save to your computer, and then we're going to get the view download. Download goes to your downloads folder, view, then view, then goes to a full image. You then can do share. And then when the share sheet comes up, you can do save to files and save the image file at that point. And we'll cancel out of that. If you go back, you will then see this icon as the alternative way. And again, if you click on this, you get this share, and then when you hit download, you're going to get those options, view or download. Again, you hit view, it opens up the image, then you do this share. Okay, let's get out of that. We're going to back out of that. Now let's look at Edge. And the summary of Edge is it's going to look just like Chrome. If you click on Save, you're going to get these options, and you click on Save to your computer. You're going to get download, then the download, open in. And then you get the share sheet, and you can do save to files. Again, this icon is the other way, and you get that intermediate screen, but you still get the downloads. So I do want to go back through these again. I want to note here, Edge, we're still in Edge. You see all these nice icons, and everything is good. I will note that this is an older iPad. I'm using an old Air 2 iPad from like 2014-ish, 2015. So it's sort of on its last legs. The newer iPads, things are a little better behaved, but Edge, even on this old iPad, is showing this bottom screen. Let me switch screens here. I'm going to back up to Safari, and Safari is no problem. Sometimes this is gone, but the easiest thing to do with Safari is if you double click on your menu button. So when you do that, you get all the different programs. If you take this program and swipe up and then restart it, It takes a minute because it has to reload the images and re-download everything. So Apple Safari, sometimes just restarting that program does it. It's hard to see, but the very top edge of that bar it's barely there. One solution is close the other tabs. If you're down to a single tab, the number page will show up in Apple Safari. Okay, on my old iPad, Chrome is the worst behaving with Ancestry. And again, if you have a newer iPad, this isn't a problem. I've looked at somebody's, just this afternoon, I was working with somebody and they had Ancestry up and absolutely no problems on their newer iPad. So there's some point where things just switched up, and what you can see here is that page number isn't showing up, and therefore the buttons to turn on the film strip and the index to show the index of people isn't working. So just be aware of that. If you don't see that bottom strip, you've got to change at least programs. I might have to get a new iPad to make that work, even though but my primary work is on PC. The only way I've figured out how to at least get the page information is to go to New Window, and if this formats correctly, there it goes. Now I have all the page information. I can then turn on the and see the index. Unfortunately, it's a very small screen. I can change that a little bit, but if I go all the way, it just formats poorly, and I lose this film strip. Anyway, just know that the age of computer can impact your performance. This is an old iPad. So I just want you to be aware of this and just to look out for this in Ancestry. Of the three browsers, Edge is the best performing and has the least problems. If you have an old iPad, I would recommend strongly considering Edge as your browser solution if you use Ancestry a lot. So let's move on to MyHeritage. MyHeritage app is, this is what you would come up with when you open up. All the features can be found here or along the bottom here. We're going to look at research and quickly go find Harriet Wilder. What you don't have in here in this app is a search for their catalogs. It's not so bad with MyHeritage. MyHeritage tends to group things up into larger collections. So, that's not a great deal. I think the big one, let's go on, is, and let me spell it exactly, birth year, 1843, Lake County, Ohio. Anyway, we'll do a search. Here's the record. I think the big thing, and we'll look at downloads, and the downloads here is just like off the website. What you'll find here, though, is, if I can get it down to the bottom, what you don't find here is a way to save the record. The same on, and so if you're doing these searches, there's no easy way to collect them to come back later and work on maybe one of your trees, especially if your tree's not in MyHeritage. So, this, at least they're using almost identical what the web browser would look like for the search. What's missing down here is the save, even though I will have to say that the save record feature in MyHeritage only saves to a person on the tree. It doesn't have a generic save like you'll find in Family Search or Ancestry. So, so this is the app. It's fine, but not great. There's no real compelling reason to use this over the web browser. Let's switch over to the web browser, and I'll just say that their site behaves well in Chrome, in Safari, and in Edge. So here we're in Chrome, and I'll tell you the steps in Chrome are exactly the same as in Edge. So we'll only go through Chrome and Safari. What you need to do is click this button, and that brings up the image in this format. So you come to this image, and what you want to do is click on the image and move it slightly up. Use your finger. I'm using this cursor. And then you let go, and the whole image comes up. So when you initially put this on, you'll see this open in, and what you're going to do is click on that. I will tell you, sometimes you click on the image and it goes away. You just have to click on the image again, and then it will come up, and then click on open in. What comes up is the share sheet, and of course then you go down to save files, and you go through all the steps that we've gone through before. So now let's go through Safari. Safari has slightly different steps, a little easier. You scroll to this image. Again, you click the that button to get to this image. I usually shut this off. So in Safari, what you do see is this download button. When you click it, it doesn't actually do the download. It opens up and brings the image up into a full screen mode. What you do is you just click the image and hold your button, and then you get these options. Now, on my old iPad, share doesn't work, and I can't save the files directly. At least on mine, and maybe it'll work on your iPad, but I have to do copy, and then go into my file folder, and then pick the folder I want to put it in. And so what I do is click and hold at the bottom. Well, you do that with your finger, and you do paste. And up here, because it's a numbered, it's going to be near the top. There's the numbered image, and you would then click and rename it, the image that the way that you want to name it. Okay. Okay. So I'm not going to go through downloading images from MyHeritage on Edge. It behaves the exact same way as in Chrome. So let's move on to Find My Past. So Find My Past application is right here, and I won't take any time here. I think at least Find My Past is being really honest here, that their app is designed to be used on an iPhone. You wouldn't use it on the iPad. You use a web browser with Find My Past on your iPad. So let's run through the different web browsers. Chrome and Edge, again, are the same, and they're only slightly different than Safari. Find My Past, you just go up here. Find My Past is well behaved in all the browsers. You just click on Download Record, and when you get Download Record, you get this symbol. You then go to the bottom, you click on Download, and then Open In. I won't go through all the steps, but again, you would scroll down, go save to files, and then rename it, put in the folder that you want to keep it. So let's look at Find My Past in Apple Safari. Again, well behaved. You just click on Options and do Download Record. And again, in Safari, it's going to go to this View Download. As we said before, download goes to your download folder. You would actually click on View, open up a full image. So with your finger, you touch and hold the image, and then it comes up with this thing. Again, my iPad doesn't seem to work with the share, but I then copy it and then put it in the folder as I've shown before. Again, I won't go through all those steps to just save some time here. I won't go through Edge acts, and it goes through the same steps as you would see in Chrome. But all the web browsers work well. These 3 web browsers work well with Find My Past. So, in summary, I've gone through all these. I'm going to just say I don't think that the apps in the iPad are worth using. I think they're really designed more for the iPhone. Each has its limitations, and the only app that I think comes close to being useful would be the Family Search app. They give you ability to access records. You can search specific collections, and you can save your records and then organize your saves within the app or on the web browser. But most of your work is going to be on web browsers anyway, so I just say go full in on web browsers. After doing this detailed review, I've been a long-time Chrome user. I'm now thinking that I need to switch over just because I use Ancestry a lot along with Family Search. Those are my 2 go-tos. I think that I'm going to have to switch over to Safari, at least Safari, but probably move to Edge. Edge provides, because I use a PC at home for most of my work, that allows me to keep my collection of bookmarks and synchronize them between all my devices. So this was real helpful for me going through this. I hope it helps you out in using your iPad to doing genealogy research. Thank you, and I'll see you in class.